Namaste. I welcome all the viewers across the globe for today's online satsang. As always, before starting, let's start with a small invocation. I will be very slow so that it will be easy for the translators in different center of ours in many countries to translate in their local languages. So let's start the invocation. Close your eyes, everyone. असतो मा सद्गमया तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमया मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमया ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Slowly open your eyes. Now let's go to the questions. First question is coming from France. And the question is there a mantra or particular ceremony which exists for New Year? Okay. New Year resembles a new beginning. As such, on human existence, there is nothing like New Year, Old Year. There is nothing as such because everything is the same. The true self is the same. It is not counting the days. But still, people who have not gone up to the realization of this truth, for them, such days like New Year or any other festival plays a significant role. In the same way, when you ask me a mantra or a ceremony for the new year, there exist mantras as well as ceremonies. New Year, as I said, is symbolic to something which is beginning again. It's a new beginning. And this is a chance for us to raise in consciousness become more aware of our true self, and come out of suffering which is caused due to illusion. But each year, people take certain resolutions. Popularly, they call it as New Year resolution. Everyone makes it. There are few who can completely fulfill their New Year resolutions. As some of my devotees who were smoking before, they had they have come to me and said that they had this New Year resolution to quit smoking and they could do it. But there were few others who might have taken same resolution but were not able to do it. Now you have to observe one thing here, that there is something which is an obstacle, and as long as obstacles exist, you can't get through it so easily. And whatever is that dark state of consciousness, which is, we can call it as mind, we can call it as a dark shadow of our own self, or whatsoever you want to call it as. This one has to be prevented. Now, for this, let us invoke the consciousness which is already hidden in us. You are not bringing it from any sky or any other place. It is hidden in you. And by awakening it, you will be able to get rid of that obstacle. And for that, mantra of obstacle is there, which I have sometimes in my workshops have reiterated several times. Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurumedeva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. This mantra is good for it. Or I understand for many people, pronunciation of the mantra is difficult. In that case, there is a mantra which exists, which is equivalent to this mantra. And that mantra is very small and sweet, very powerful. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. You just need to close your eyes on the New Year day, as you are asking me, and chant this mantra as many times as you want. And for sure, you will have a fantastic year ahead. This mantra you can chant anytime, morning, evening, night, doesn't matter. It's left to you, and how much ever you want. Even that is not a problem. So, this is the mantra. If you ask me about ceremonies, you can do a small fire ritual at your house using the same mantra also by taking the pieces of wood and burning it along with several flowers and ghee, so many other things, and offering it to it. So that this mantra combined with the fire energy spreads everywhere. And the mission of Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Let everyone be in peace will be fulfilled. So this is the mantra which I want to tell you. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. We will go to the next question. Next question is coming from Hungary. It's coming from Dr. Chaba. He's asking, as a doctor, I work in social home for elderly people. So I see dying people on a daily basis. When we can't cure someone, we are using a lot of medication like painkillers, tranquilizers, etc. to ease the suffering of the patient. Can we do bad for a person with this? Maybe he or she has a karmic reason to have the disease and the suffering. And with the medications, we may take his or her chance away to get a better incarnation. Of course, I will do everything to ease the suffering my patient in the future too, because this is what I have to do as a doctor and as a human being. I was just wondering about it. Okay. I understand that you are a medical doctor and you are working in the social area where elderly people are severely diseased. And I do understand that there are some diseases which we cannot cure medically. So you are asking me whether to give them medicine like painkillers or tranquilizers. to not to make them feel the pain, whether this is fine or not, whether this will take away their chance to have a better incarnation or not. Well, I should tell you something. Everyone should do their dharma, righteousness. The word dharma has to be a little bit understood. Dharma or being dharmic simply means doing the best in which you are good at. You are a qualified doctor, and in that case, what is very important to you is to see that your patient gets better, gets healthier, and you have to put all your heart and soul into it. This should be your mission. In case you know it that it's not possible because a cancer patient who is in the fourth stage has negligible chances to recover or almost impossible. At that time, you can do the things what you are supposed to do for the person not to feel the pain or suffering physical, to give them the painkillers, tranquilizers. It justifies the situation, and that is what you are supposed to do. It is not that you just leave them or anyone else. Just leave them saying, it's your karmic thing, it's your suffering. So if I treat you, you will have a better, a bad incarnation again. No, we should do what we can and what is best at that situation. And the best you can do is that by making them feel good as long as they are alive. A doctor should always be in a love affair with his patients. But most of them, as I can see, they are not. Of course, as I know you as a person, it's maybe different. But as I could see in Europe generally, there was huge difference between the doctor's treatment and the relationship that they have with patients. In India, and the way doctors have the relationship with their patients in Europe, exceptions are always there. I'm not saying everyone are like that, but for sure, there were very few who were having That kind of real doctor patient relationship, which I am talking about. For all others, this was just like a business. And this is not the dharma of a Vaidya. Vaidya, doctor. In India, we call doctors as Vaidyo Harihi Narayana. Narayana, the Supreme Lord. So we call doctors as incarnations of Supreme Lord itself because they can save the life. That kind of love affair relationship should be between doctor and patient. And this is the approach which should be from outside. This gives them the kind of strength because a person who is suffering from such a disease, which is life threatening, they already know that today or tomorrow they are going to die and they will not be alive anymore. All they want is a little bit of love when they are living this world. And that is a prerequisite than any other thing. They should be loved, they should be cared by the doctors. And second thing is that make their life as long as they live comfortable. Because there is certain limits to which we can do many things. Let's do it from our side. This is what we can do. This is what we need to do. And this is all we have to do. After that, whatever happens, it will happen. That's not in our hand. So, this is the way that we have to do our dharma. So, dharma of a doctor is to do best that he or she can at that point of time. Whatever is the right decision, being a medical doctor, that we should do it. And next question. As I am listening to your teachings and reading the Bhagavad Gita and other books, I try to change the way I live. It's not easy. And I was wondering, isn't it easier if you learn these things when you become a little child? How can I teach these principles to my children? My children are 11th Balint, who are 3 years and 5 months old, respectively. Okay. This is the question which every parents should ask themselves. The problem is that the education system which is there today has got nothing to do with the reality of the true self. Because if you open your textbooks from the school, from your academics, you read many things like history, wars. But honestly, who cares about all these things? We have nothing to do with World War I, World War II, Adolf Hitler, Mussolini. But we read only this. I have not seen a single textbook from anywhere in the world where there is a chapter on love, where there is a chapter on compassion, where it speaks of a person like Buddha, Jesus, Krishna, or someone like that. But it speaks extensively on the Hitler, on the Churchill, and all the warlords. This is the way our education system is. For this reason, we need to educate our children very, very spiritually from the very beginning. If you see Ashtanga Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, which is Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, and ultimately the Samadhi. This is what is really needed for life. Knowing discipline and moral ethics, like be practice contentment, be truthful, be honest, let there be purity in your heart, let there be love, let there be self practice, let you be peaceful. These are the things which is important and which makes sense in life. And whosoever follows all these principles and moral codes in their life, and of course, the practice of yoga completely. Yoga means, please, as I always repeat, don't think it is only asanas. Asana is just a small part of yoga. It is just a part of yoga. Yoga means completely. Yama Niyama Asana, Pranayama Pratyahara, Dharana Dhyana. The last one is consequence, Samadhi. All these things are necessary. So, like, these things are direct teachings which you can impart on your child, because these things are not available in any school books or anywhere else. And for a small child, home is the first school, and parents are the first teachers. So, whatever they learn in their first school with their first teachers, which is parents at home, is very, very, very important. This is very important because what you plant in them now is something that they will carry throughout their life, because this is what we call it as conditioning. How we get conditioned when we are a small child is how we will be in the future also. If there is no good conditioning, or if there is no spiritual conditioning, or if you don't give a spiritual touch to children when they are too small, it will be very difficult in the future for them to change. Then they too will ask the same question when they grow up, like life would have been much better if they would have practiced spirituality when they were much smaller. So read Bhagavad Gita. You're following my teachings. Follow the teachings of Ashtanga Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. Directly apply it on the children. That is all is needed. Plant a seed, beautiful tree will grow naturally. So that's what I want to tell you on this. The next question. Okay, next question is coming from France again. Why people in life need to be recognized and valued? Just I was answering some time back the last question that the childhood is very, very, very important. Because when you are born and when you are a child, there is absolute purity. The difference between an enlightened being and a child is only one thing. That enlightened being went through experience and he became a child again. And a child has not gone through the experience yet. So child might be having a little bit of ignorance, and an enlightened being has wisdom through experience. Apart from that, there is no difference at all. When I say this, understand how pure and beautiful a child is when it's born. Absolutely pure and natural. Now, it's not the mistake of the child. It starts at house. As I said, house is the first school. Parents are the first teachers. Parents are the one who will tell their child like, look, I am a doctor. You should be a doctor. I am a lawyer. You should be a lawyer. I am an engineer. You should be an engineer. And whatever they want, that they want to see in their children. This is how people put this kind of pressure on their children. And when they start to put this kind of pressure, they will slowly come to the conclusion that, yes, it's true. What my parents are saying is true. I need to be recognized. I need to be valued. And they will start to and grow up. And they will start to expand their thoughts in the same way as they grow up. Everywhere then. Earlier, their parents were pushing them in education or in certain social status or whatever it is. Then they go to temple. Their priest will condition them more. They go to school. The teachers will condition them more. They go outside the house or watch a TV. Their politicians will corrupt them more. And when they step outside the house, their friends will corrupt them more. Society will corrupt them more. And everyone's agenda is only one. You have to be something. You have to be someone who should be rich, famous, known, valued. So this kind of madness gets planted when you are very small. This is the deep rooted problem in all those who have such mindsets. There are certain people who have ego also, like, I am the important man. I should be valued more than anyone else. I should be recognized. All the roots of this ego, this conditioning, is only because of your childhood. If your childhood is different, like you are grown up in such an environment where they teach you values of life, then you don't care whether someone values you or not, because you know your value. You don't care whether you get recognized or not, because how does it matter someone gets recognized or not in this planet? All the meditation, all the spirituality is to recognize the true self which you are, to recognize your real nature, to realize your true nature, not to get recognized in some mad world, in your county, in your city, in your country, or in your continent, or in the world. And even this recognition is not forever. If I suddenly ask you, like, who was the fifth president of the United States of America? No one might immediately tell me, but for sure, like hundreds of years back, they could have told me that very easily. Over a period of time, they have forgotten. No one remembers. No one. So, getting recognized or feeling that we should be valued and we should get attention, it's all psychological sickness. You don't need any of these things, but there can be also a chance to recognize and realize this fact that values are important in life, which we follow, not being valued by anyone else. No one needs to give you a certification because you are already perfect. If you are not able to feel it yet, then you have not realized the truth that you are. The moment you realize that, you will see the beauty of life. So let's go to the next question. There is next question again coming from France. And the question is, Money is important in life? It's a question mark. So, the first question you are asking me is money is important in your life. Not only me, anyone who says it's not important in life is the biggest hypocrite. Even for general things, without money, it's not possible. Why I'm telling this is money is something, but people who believe money is everything are wrong. Money is just something. If at all, I have to speak to you live now, here. Without money, there is no internet, and without internet, there cannot be this satsang now. And when I say that money is something, I'm saying in this world, in this society in which we live presently, in this money, at least I can say, is something. If if you would ask me the same question many thousands of years back, then maybe I would have told you that it's not important. This question is always subjective to the times at which we are living. Those times there was more of forest. You could have a fruit, you could have vegetables, which is growing naturally, and no one would bother. But today, you can't even sit in a park late in the night. Police will drive you out of the park, thinking like you're a homeless person. Maybe you are having some drugs, or who are you, a thief, whatever. So it is not possible to live the life that way. So for this present situation and in this society, I can only say that money is something. Money is a useful form of energy which can be channeled the way you want. You have sufficient money for yourself, and then whatever you have in excess, do some activities for the social cause. This is how you can use your money in a better way. This is the way I see money. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's not needed at all. That's not my point. But at the same time, I'm saying money is not everything. Money can buy you a bed, a very big bed, but it can't buy you sleep. Money can buy you a good massage machine, but it can't give you peace. So it's not everything. This is how I see it. Next question. Why people have to pay for going to workshops? Good. People are paying to workshops. I can't comment on other workshops, but if your question is towards our foundation, then I can certainly answer. I'm very happy to answer this question. People have to pay for workshops for their own selves because whatever we raise in the foundation, all the money will be utilized for the social initiatives that we have been doing. For instance, presently we are building an ashram in India. Now, who will come to this ashram? Who will live inside it? It is the people. And whatever initiatives that we are taking, we have many humanitarian initiatives. Like every month, we are feeding 100 children in orphanage, and we are using about 30% of our funds for such activities. 70% has always been to cover the cost of our spiritual ashram and the expenses of travels, and that's it. That is the way we are using it. And often people have asked me these questions, who are not asking this because they really want to know the source of the funding. This question can be framed in another way also, like for what these funds are used. That will make a more sensible question. Because people have money to buy weed, to smoke, to drink alcohol, and to do everything. And the same people have problem to pay for a workshop. Our workshop is not for me or any members of our foundation. We can furnish all the details to you. We are completely utilizing it for our projects. This question should be asked for those like Sai Baba when he died. $45 billion. Yes, $45 billion of money was there in their bank accounts. Not only that, more than 100 kilos of gold was found in their rooms everywhere. This question should be asked to these people. Like, what are they doing with this kind of funds? And whatever funds we are raising, anyone can come and see it. And it is visible what we are doing. We don't often show things to people like our charitable donations or orphanage things or something like that. But for sure, we have many spiritual initiatives, social initiatives, and we will keep doing it. Only for this reason, we are raising funds through workshops, and it is for you itself. When this place is ready, you come. After all, this is your place. This is not my place. This is not anyone's place, but this is your place. I am neither a board member of any foundations, nor do I hold any position anywhere. Whatever is there, that belongs to the foundation, and it belongs to everyone. So, this is why we raise the funds. We will go to the next question. Next question is also coming from France. And the question is about the ashram. What is an ashram? There are several questions. I will go one by one. So, first question is, what is an ashram? An ashram is a spiritual place where you practice spirituality under an enlightened master. This is a place not to speak about spirituality, but to practice spirituality. There is difference between speaking and discussing and practicing it. And spiritual ashram is a holy temple where you will follow certain kind of teachings under a guru. It can be anyone, whosoever it might be, but under their guidance, under their teachings, you will practice meditation, you will practice yogas, you practice all types of yogas, bhakti yoga, yoga of devotion, karma yoga, devotion towards serving everyone, gnana yoga, yoga of the knowledge, hatha yoga, which you know very well, raja yoga, the yoga of the meditation, tantra yoga, yoga of the tantra, several things. You practice it. And when you are in an ashram, you will be completely into spirituality. It is like when you are watching a movie in a theater. You can't think about anything else because the atmosphere in which you are sitting is in such a way that you can only watch the movie. Nothing else comes to your mind. In the same way, when you are in an ashram, From the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep, you will be only in spirituality. You will be only practicing spirituality. You will be in constant presence of divinity. This is what we call as ashram. And the question is, what is relation between ecology and spirituality? Why being independent regarding the energetical resources and recycling water is important from spiritual point of view? When we say ecology, it simply means that it is existing very naturally. And whenever nature is involved, it is absolute divinity. When nature gives us everything, why should we go for something which is man made? It is not the way we show gratitude towards the nature. And the question is that why being independent regarding the energetical resources and recycling water is important? It is important because if we are not following all these things like recycling of water or like using the natural resources, then isn't it that we are polluting the things? We have no rights to pollute anything on this earth because Mother Earth is very pure, but human being is destroying it by cutting the trees, by leaving the drainage water into the ocean, and all these things that human is doing today against the nature. This has to be stopped. We have to respect it. When naturally available resources are available, why should we go for something which is man-made? I have heard recently that in America, a multinational company, Monsanto, was making genetically modified crops. And this genetically modified crops is not good for health. When naturally available substance is existing, what is the need for us to go for genetically modified seeds? This is the way of showing lack of gratitude towards the Mother Earth, which gives us everything. Recently, in our ashram place, we digged our own borewell where we got beautiful, very sweet in taste and very good in minerals, which was tested by geologists. So we don't need to rely on government for this because the government takes the water from the river, they makes the chemicals, so many things which we don't know. And when we drink this water, it's not good. When Mother Earth is naturally giving us this resource, then there is no need for us to go for something which is not natural. This is the connection of seeing the natural things, which is nothing but a spiritual way of saying, because spirituality is nature, nature is natural. Whatever is man made is like at the cost of nature is something which is corrupted. So this is one thing we need to know, make a note of it. That is why natural available substance or like recycling water is very, very important. So that we keep the nature as it is and we don't corrupt the nature. And next question is, will you create an ashram in Europe? Definitely, definitely. Already I am in talks with my devotees in Portugal. We are in the process of finalizing it. And I am planning to make an ashram based on Sri Yantra in Portugal on the islands, which has so far never existed in the history of mankind. It is a very deep, mysterious, spiritual energy which originates from a Sri Yantra. So, this Sri Pita will be established there, and there will be an ashram in Europe. Will they be built on the same model? They will be absolutely built on the same model like the way we have now building in India. We will build it according to the principles of Vastu, which is ancient science of building the house, temple, ashram, whatever it might be. This existed thousands of years back in India. Based on these principles, we are going to make it. The principle will be the same. The concept of the ashram will be slightly different. Otherwise, the rest of the things will be the same. What is a Siddha Research Center? Yes, I have announced in India itself that there will be a Siddha Research Center. This will be there in the phase 2 of our construction. Right now, we are making only a meditation hall. We need more funds to complete other projects like Ayurvedic Park and Siddha Research Center. So we will keep it for future. If you ask me what is a Siddha Research Center, I have always been speaking about siddhis, which is nothing but gaining mastery over something. It might be gaining mastery over the ego itself. Then enlightenment can happen. And for this, you need to spend a long time under my guidance and follow certain things, spiritual practices. So, in this research center, we are going to research many other things. Like there are several different kinds of siddhis. Already, there are few whom I don't want to name, who are able to have very high intuition to foresee the things that is going to happen. I have one of my disciple in Hungary. She wrote me a mail just 2 days back because I have given her a siddhi practice to gain the intuition. So there are several things which I can create a siddha in everyone. Siddhis can be used for walking on water, walking on fire, many things. Siddhi medicines are also there, Siddha medicines, which is like Ayurvedic but has solution for everything. Hepatitis or jaundice, English medicine or this latest chemical medicines cannot cure it, but Siddha medicines can. And this research center will focus on finding solutions for such kind of diseases also. So this is what I mean when I say Siddha Research Center. So after having this question, now we are coming to the end of this session. Again, we will meet next month. Till then, everyone take care. And it was my greatest pleasure to answer your questions. Sarve Jana Sukhino Bhavantu. Namaste.